That's right. Nobody wants you in this town. Nobody wants you around, period. Look at him, fellas. You crying, boy? Down to McDonald's, get you a Lamburger, some French fries. How about a Weineken? You little sissy boy.
What's up, guys? Spenny. Turning Point won the streaming halftime wars, not just because they didn't broadcast open filth and degeneracy and sick, woke, open borders and alphabet propaganda into your kids' skulls. Look, here are some of the translated lyrics of Bad Bunny. Look at that. Lawmakers now calling for a full-scale investigation and fining of NBC News for broadcasting this smut, X-rated Spanish mumble rap. Anyway, the point is that we won. We won with a Christian message. We won with a message and a testament from Kid Rock about faith in Christ. And we can prove that now with numbers. This, according to Samba TV, showing that half of the households turned the TV off during the halftime show. Half the households. Also, that the halftime viewership was 40% reduction from Kendrick Lamar's show last year, which I may not have liked it, but at the very least, people know who Kendrick Lamar is and know his music, and so whatever. There's a much better show than this year. I will admit to that. Nonetheless, overall ratings were down by 13%. Halftime show was totally and completely abysmal. So, ladies and gentlemen, we won. And now it's time for a massive victory lap. Kid Rock was on Fox News last night, and he was speaking with Laura Ingraham. And he called out Jay-Z. And the reason why you have to call out Jay-Z here is because Jay-Z is the one who picks the halftime show performer. Maybe that's why we haven't had a country music act in 32 years. Not since 1994 has there been a country music act, because Jay-Z and Rock Nation, whatever the hell that is now decides who the halftime performer is, because Roger Goodell partnered with Jay-Z in order to take the heat off of him and his league and his executives during sort of the DEI woke madness of Colin Kaepernick. This is just a matter of fact. Roger Goodell decided to try and placate black players or black fans by saying, no, look, hey, look, here's Jay-Z. Everyone has a seat at the table. Kid Rock called it all out from his position, doing a victory lap on Fox News. Here we go.
It's all started, man, I could go on for days, but to sum it, I would think back 2016 when Colin Kaepernick took a knee, to protest, I think it was racial injustice and police brutality and everything that, he got a lot of people's panties in a bunch, self-included. I did not agree with him, but nonetheless, he's got the right to speak his mind, do his thing. And Roger Goodell really had a real problem on his hand back then. And I think he was like, how do I get out of this and, keep making the tens upon millions of dollars a year that I make, in a predominantly male black league. So he goes like, well, maybe Jay-Z will do it, which nothing against Jay-Z. I respect him for his hustle and, his music. But it seems like there's a little bit of a DEI hire there going on, to kind of black guys love Jay-Z. And of course, I'm not that ignorant. I know a lot of us love Jay-Z, not just black guys. But in the league where he had this problem, it seemed like, we'll bring him in. And so, Jay-Z's not going to take that position of power and that money. So, then they convened in a not for profit league until, they quietly got rid of that tax exempt status at some point, so Roger did not have to disclose his salary. So he had all sorts of problems. So he brings in Jay-Z, and what's Jay-Z going to do? He's going to do right by his base. That's where you had Kendrick Lamar last year. A lot of people didn't get. I respect Kendrick Lamar, but wasn't my cup of tea. And, then this year you're like, wow, they're going to double down. And to me, it was kind of just like another middle finger to conservatives, to the MAGA, crowd, to my base, everything.
Kid Rock correctly stating history there, which is that this is all a op in order to play the woke mob and to say, no, listen, Jay-Z picks everything, right? What would be Kid Rock's advice to DEI hire, which is genius way to put it. Jay-Z's a DEI.
You called up Jay-Z
next week,
and you said,
for next year.
I have an idea.
Here we go.
I have an idea for next year because he has a multi-year contract. I mean, he is just cashing in on this. Okay. So again, no, that's good for him, but it's about the country. You would think it's about the country. So you want to have the widest audience as possible. So what would you suggest as kind of a mix?
For a second, if the NFL really wanted to, stick to its stated goals, they clearly want to go global. I understand that. Grow their business. Go for it. I'm not in agreement with it, but go for it. I mean, there's a band that's arguably the biggest band in the world that checks all their boxes right in San Francisco, and that would be Metallica. And there's also some great Bay Area rappers like E40 or Too Short. You know what I mean? So it's literally another thing too. When you look at all the performers they had, it's like literally okay to be this outspoken liberal. You still get to perform all this stuff, but on the other side, number one, if you're vocal like things with me, they don't want anything to do with you, but they want you to shut up. That's what they want. You can have your values, but just shut up about them. Don't be vocal anywhere with them because, all these things and award shows and everything else, we don't want you to have any part of what we're doing. So, I don't want to play in their stupid sandbox anyway, so.
Kid Rock effectively saying that, the NFL has to stop trying to become a globalist league and remember their core constituency, their core audience, and taking a victory lap here, and a well-deserved one, because Kid Rock's halftime show, not only, as we demonstrated, has had more viewers than the NFL's halftime show, but also Kid Rock's halftime show has led to him having the #1 song in America.
Turning Point USA's All-American Halftime Show hitting over 20 million views on YouTube, with Turning Point reporting between 40 and 50 million views tuned in across all platforms. Headliner Kid Rock joining Laura Ingraham to tout the show's success and to discuss why he chose to perform his cover of Cody Johnson's Till I Can't.
I knew they wanted to have a program that's great on, family and faith and great music. And I did it to honor him and his fans because he wasn't able to do it. So I said, well, he's going to have a lot of fans, and let's try to play one of his songs.
Since his performance, Kid Rock's cover skyrocketing to the top of the iTunes charts, topping Bad Bunny's DTMF in the original version of Till I Can't is now.
There you go. Okay.
Friend Kid Rock. Bobby, great to see you tonight, man. You rocked it last night. Crazy viewership. Are you surprised that it was as big as it was?
I don't know if I'm so much surprised. I mean, just going into it, the people that, found out when I was doing it that reached out to me was just, it was, and even last night after the show, it was just overwhelming on both sides of it. So I wasn't really super surprised. I thought it was going to, really move some mountains, make some waves.
This is something that Kid Rock told me while we were preparing for all of this in Nashville. It's something that we planned on. This is a strategy in order to take back and conquer culture. And in order to do that, you have to prove that at the very least, you can have a piece. We took a piece from the Super Bowl. We drank their milkshake. We broke off a piece of their viewership. We didn't have to beat them in viewers. You just have to prove that we could, if you are woke enough, we can take a large portion of your customer and client base and give them what they want. This is capitalism. Kid Rock going in on Jay-Z. Love to see it. Love the drama. Keep it going. It's your boy Benny. No more DEI hires.